me a viral load test. Sure enough, it came back positive. So when I went in and see him, I asked him, I said, is there a support group for people with hepatitis C? And he said, no. And at the time, I was living in San Francisco, and I thought, well, that's really odd, because San Francisco has a support group for almost everything you can imagine, right? So that sort of planted the seed. Well, shortly after that, about 4 months after that, I went out on a product called interferon. And interferon, in that time, you took 3 shots a week, subcutaneously, right under the skin. And I started on that, and it was really a difficult treatment. So there was a couple things going on with that. One is that I started doing some research on interferon, and I realized that there was such a low response rate. In fact, when I looked at it, it was only like a 9% chance that I could be cured. The other thing was I started having a lot of symptoms, physical symptoms, but a lot of psychological, like depression, anxiety, things like that. So I realized 2 things. I needed to do more research, and the other thing was I needed to have some kind of support. So I made a pledge with myself that I would start a support group after I finished treatment. So after treatment, I started the first support group for people with hepatitis C in San Francisco. I also started doing some informational pamphlets or sheets on hepatitis C. Well, a friend of mine worked at the San Francisco Chronicle and he did a story on me, and I put my address and my phone number in the article, and I started getting all these calls from all across the country from people asking for information and advice about hepatitis C. So I started a local call-in number for people, and I produced this information packet, and I put my address on that also, being very naive. And one day I came home from work, and there was a pile of letters about this big on my doorstep, and 90% of them were from San Quentin Prison. And I realized I probably shouldn't put my home address on it, so that was a good lesson also.